tea no omso kore mu anya sam ketwa best point adaro menti amanfo sika semu nyini se prum wo so fan kodom wo mo e na obeboa wo best assurance nso onipadua na ojapade nyina na wabɔ ho ban sɛ sie di fufu a ye mmere ni fufu adaro menti simanum na aye krado nimekuoi na ekura yi mu e de kasebo yi ebremu na de bedi mu akoti ne bi ene sɛ mampani na nado ashaga na fo nyina bɔ ne titiru abadwuma fo bɔ sɛ enya de aban de ne nsa ebeto adwuma fo akatua so kwan bia so
COVID-19 empani mampani kire sɛ nipa bɛ sɛ 500,000 ɛna wɔn awo ɛwɔ Ghana
banks awdo mienu a egu o man Ghana mu egu ye eye UT Bank ɛna afin so Unibank Ghana Limited no Speaker of Parliament ahye sɛ yenta bedwako bi na mo hwehwɛ mu ade potiesi yenti a bank mienu yegu ye
budget a yetwa ediama asoye hweketeche adwumadie eso eye 5.5 million Ghana cedis mrahye bedwa Agya tum
na so afọ hwe adan ene nyuma hosam so ebo apro ahwe gota hodo ewo enkran bi sasa anye bi ehosam etesai
osuafo hwe ensase ho nsam so ade ato Forestry Commission enim say woma tamumra ashom nsam na eniema ensem fata na omoye ewe kwa ebentuo mu no wontu omu nyina so esa
wani nsama hodo bi eka ho ene de bra mu se kase ebo akenkanfo a yeso mo na nwumre yi eye me Agya Kwabena menemi ni aba
Obahima Afia Akyere Asiedu
Afia kasabo ne mu nsam nie mampadi na nado dan kwakufa do de atudwe akirem se Ganafo de titro abadwuma efo nka mo komanto mo yam se ebi aban de ne sika beto market aso de dabi anya de bibia etisa ne ebesi wo kire se de obeye biara se na be ya Ghana adwuma efo beto bia no na ban ne beye
abetodwa wo maimu se omampani hihye mu no emfie miense edi animu idie enya ade a aban adwumayefo ebenya akatua entumu ama ayedeja ya kire se wo bia eka bie na Trade Union Congress TUC wonum enhye mu emfie na bia wo ye nea etoso dubaako ya wonum esan edi won frinhia aduosunum afidida 75th anniversary dwumadie na se Ghana mampani na nado danko akufuado akasa ne nkasa yemu no ode atudwa se enya no kreda sa aban na ka se wontua aban adwumayefo ka emfie miensa ne nan a edi nanim da bi.
As you may have witnessed over the course of my first term in office, my government does not take the Ghanaian worker for granted, and we appreciate the many sacrifices that have been made by the leadership and membership of organized labor, past and present, towards the development of our beloved Ghana. And I'm determined, for as long as I remain President of the Republic, to continue even more firmly on the path of cooperation and collaboration on which we have embarked to the benefit of the working people of our country. At the height of the pandemic, government instituted several measures and interventions to lessen the impact of COVID-19 on our lives and livelihoods. These measures sustain the economy, restore some lost jobs and incomes, whilst opening windows of new opportunities for others. The time has now come for us to take the next set of actions required for the sustained recovery of the economy. Some of the measures appears to contain some difficult but very necessary causes of action, as evidenced by reactions from some quarters. I understand the concern, especially with regards to imposition of some new taxes. However, as has been stated by the Secretary General, let me reiterate, the salary increments for public sector workers have not been frozen for the next 4 years. The truth of the matter is that we are not in normal times. And I appeal to all Ghanaians, including organized labor, to assist government in this endeavor to help rebuild our public finances and economy. I therefore urge all Ghanaian workers to bear with government in these unusual and rather challenging times.
General Secretary ya wada TUC anom eni ora Anthony Yauba na nenkase moda na di se Ghana fo adwuma ye fo bre.
As you may know, Mr. President, too many Ghanaians are working under very, very poor conditions. Earnings are too low for a large section of Ghanaian workforce. Just about 12% of the total workforce have access to pension. And for those who are likely to have access to pension, nearly 80% of them receive less than 1,000 Ghana cedis per month. Income inequality is increasing because a very tiny fraction of Ghanaians are benefiting from the remarkable economic growth that Ghana has experienced in the last 3 decades or so. Formal and decent jobs are very hard to find. And so the informal economy has now become the main source of employment and livelihoods for about 11 out of the 13 million Ghanaians in the workforce. Consequently, Ghanaians, including workers, are poor. We believe that Ghana can do better with the resources available to us.
COVID-19 panye enwon sem a ba ya Ghana foguso a na wom ewe omampanyin na dodan kwakufu ado e de ato dwase wo hwe enipa a wom awa obetumi akase 500,000 de wom nyina aguso ewo empanye.
I cannot begin this address without paying tribute to organized labor and its leadership for their invaluable contribution in helping keeping our country on its 2 feet in these times of COVID-19. COVID-19 resulted in a drastic slowdown in economic activity and a huge drop in domestic revenues, combined with a sharp and unplanned hike in COVID-19 related expenditures. In sum, this unprecedented crisis led to a sudden shortfall in government revenues amounting to some 13,600,000 cedis and an unexpected and unavoidable rise in expenditures of some 11,700,000 cedis. Government took the decision, like many governments around the world, to protect lives and livelihoods rather than be concerned about fiscal deficits and debts. We knew we could resolve the problem of fiscal deficits and debts later on, but we could not bring back lost lives. In spite of this, our public finances still took a hit in the process, and we now have the inescapable duty of rebuilding our finances. As we work to bring our economy back to life, I appeal to organized labor to support the public education campaign currently ongoing with regards to the vaccination program. The vaccine, together with strict compliance with the safety protocols, are what will allow us to open up our country again, embark on the quest to restore normalcy livelihoods. So far, nearly 500,000 persons have been vaccinated, and government remains on course to procuring a total of 42 million vaccines to achieve its target of 20 million vaccinated Ghanaians by the end of the year. This would mean that the entire adult population of our country would have been vaccinated by the end of the year.
Bayan Africa kreni and a banks how do be go Ghana mu na emu bi a UT Bank Limited and Afia Unibank Ghana Limited. Numeku mienu egu. Na wo mpanyifo eden krata akodam na chebudwafo so mo sra na chebudwafo enhwehwe nsemu no mu se de ya bank no egu ye na emu bi ho a wo mo emfa moa na krata mo de koye no na Right Honorable Abankinsford Babin or no Speaker of Parliament ahye say yenta badwaku bi na sa bank ahodo mienu no ye hwehwem de ye port ntia bank no bu metunani.
So Speaker, I just want to order 76. One, I lay at the table a petition on behalf of Dr. Kwabena, who used to be a shareholder of the defunct Unibank Ghana Limited. Petition of Mr. Prince Mabe that Parliament 1 investigate the conduct of the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Stock Exchange for the revocation of UT Bank's license and delisting the bank without due regard to the rules of administrative justice guaranteed under Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution. What the Honourable Member opted to do is to go under 76(1), where the petition
is brought to the table by the direction of the Speaker. He hasn't made a motion, so he just made it. I will now proceed to tell the House how are we going to handle the petition. We set up a committee to go through it and report to the House. Then a motion will be made, and then the consideration will then begin from there. But now a citizen has a concern, and the citizen thinks that he should petition Parliament, and that is what the citizen has done. And so when by our rules a citizen is to petition Parliament, it must be done through a member of Parliament. You disagree with the position that I took. I'm a social register, but I disagree with the position that you want to take. But I believe that this is sub judice. That is my position. And you have made a statement to the effect that it must be referred to the committee to make some proposals. So perhaps we will leave it at that. But I disagree with the position that you have taken. When you disagree with Mr. Speaker, you know the right thing to do. I don't want to assume powers I don't have. By the reading of the standing orders and the Constitution, I don't have those powers to be disallowing petitions just because I have the discretion to admit or not to admit. I must be guided by law.
Budget aban extra ediama asuye ehweketeche ho nsem eso eye 5.5 million Ghana cedis na emrahye badwafo ni nyina no akobenkroma budget waje ede atomo.
It was particularly indicated, for example, that the Ghana Railway Company Limited carries staff strength of about 1,122, a total of 706. It is the considered view of the committee that all the intervention being made by the government to revamp the railway sector will not yield the needed outcome if human resource matter is not properly addressed to enable the ministry, for that matter, Ghana Railway Development Authority and Ghana Railway Company Limited to have the full complement of staff with requisite knowledge. The committee again therefore urges the ministry, the Ghana Railway Development Authority and the Ghana Railway Company Limited to develop a comprehensive roadmap for the recruitment of the requisite staff. Mr. Speaker, for the ministry to execute its programs and activities, the committee unanimously recommend to the House to approve the sum of 512,575,690 Ghana cedi and 92 for the Ministry of Railway Development for the 2021 fiscal year. If you look at what government have been doing over the years, Mr. Speaker, it appears we are building railways as if like the way we build roads. But sadly, that will not work. Mr. Speaker, if you were to attempt to build a road between Tema, Moto and about to, let's say, Eketa, you can do the first 17 kilometers, and drivers will be happy to drive on the good 17 kilometers and fly the rest, which is bad. But with railway, you have to build it end to end. You cannot build halfway and leave it. So there's a need for the government to actually look at the railway master plan carefully and see what we can do to derive the best benefits quicker. So Mr. Speaker, I just want to end here and encourage colleagues to support the bill.
Woman so afọ wono e no hwe adan ene nnwuma honsam so no nyamfo Francis aseso boache e de aprobo ahye so e won kakropo mu ha e hwe se ye gates ahodo a e wa ha no e honsam te sensan se nche bia no enso betoto
Siafo hwe adansie ni nnwuma ho nsenkaye wo maiga na mu yo no nyamfo Francis Asenso Boache wode nani ko twa wisi abo apro e de afa nkramantamu wode nani akwa hwehwe hwemiaye a wosusu sensuo to a ebetimi obehunu kwan obefa so ahwe ehon nsenkaye nyina na obo anakopie mu e wo Odo River eno no e wo circle afen so mu ye drain project ahodo wo Santa Maria na Afia penkwa eno so kokohweye.
This is Santa Maria called this area plus Afia. It floods seriously, or used to flood seriously, let me put it that way. Because in the past there was only a small culvert here, pipe culvert. And so we decided to change that small culvert into what we are seeing now, this big box culvert, so that there will be free flow of water through the culvert and then through the channel to the downstream, away from the community, to mitigate the flooding. But when we started the work, we didn't know. We were thinking that it would be possible for the assembly to allow this building to go so that we will be able to continue with the project. But the assembly informed us that the owner of this building had a permit. Yes, so had a permit. And also the man went to court and got an injunction. So he placed an injunction on the project. So there's no way we're going to continue with this project without the case being resolved.
On the I don't say baby I'm illegal. I also because as a buffer area also mujama equipment so that in the long run Ebola nyama na omo generate no and also omo pet bin almost omo zoom la for kasa na omo fa good bin mu so that it will be properly disposed of.
Siafo bo apro wie no ne nsentwerefo be kasade ato omo anim se Ghana fo ma bi ya sobrache papa aban na ebo ne ho moden se ne be ye obetimi abo bibia ho ba ye ne obetimi aye bia na enkrampotem watimi afa ne ntuma pefra yi
bia ni wa o de sikasa aship na de na me kan se aban ye na adwuma no na ye nso a ye nso so no wo ye adwuma na man nso so no ye nso so ye de ade ba ko ye hu ni o sa flood prevention and say nipa bebre your waste system no omo ntiase ba bia se edi waste kogu no ye fa nkogu ho so nsuo to a na bi tutu nsuo enioma bebre and the drainage channels you see bi okra na bicycle obi ekwa na car kra na sabi ye pia atum na sa enioma we say esi nsuo ho kwan a ba de nsuo to a sabi emefan ye planning emra e wo Ghana ha nyina no district assemblies no and I say enforce so na emra na etie entina me de to o manim say I'm making sure say your planning laws ni nyina no o be do so na mo ma say bi nkofo nkosisi dan ene kiosk ni ade e wo insuom
Osuafo hwensase ne oboade ne petwe ehu hia ho nsem eso eye honorable Samuel Abujinapo na wode ato empanyifo mda forestry commission nim say omanfo bi ti se wom ye galamsey watam mrashom nsem na de omo pe wom eye ene wom mining companies bi nso wo a wom fa mra no anya adwuma enti safo ni nyina forestry commission sorry na wontu wom so esa Ewiase nyina da watu dia si wanu de hwe kwa ibretu nsem ho nsenkan me International Day of Forest no Forestry Commission wo my Ghana mu so de wom ho agi mu bi da enu mu na osuafo a ohwe nsasesem na afi obade ebobere nsem so wonumonyamfo Samuel Abujinapo ede afutuo ebekọ ede ama empanifo mo da Forestry Commission no ano se omanfo mo nam kwati kwan so mo di tufo magudie na afi so mining companies yahodo a wonom mpese ombedi mining regulations ne so no wonyu omo fancy nchen ba bi kura se na ebe ye kwa ibretu nsem no yebetimi abo ho ban wode nsem we nyina no to dwa wo International Day of Forest a wo mo de om ho hye mu ni nyina mu ase
se mene Forestry Commission Chief Executive ne mpanyimfo ya tenase ama yedi nkomo ato adwen na adwendwen ni nyina wie ni se forest reserves wo Ghana ha ye bo ho ban na omampanyina na akufado ne adisredu hunu a odi asi na su fitete nyina ene se forest ne ye kwaya ya wo ye maimu no ye be hye da bo ho ban enti mining na ye ko to gold ne ho sensem forest reserves mu no ye mfoaso nti ye kwaya nyina ye pese ye bo ho ban nti ma me de instruction ama Forestry Commission panifo se ye nhwe se permit ye de mass ye nkoye mining or forest reserve no me ma saa permit ni biem jire broni be say exceptional circumstances say bi o ho a ye hwa ne ebeboa man na eno enko na generally say ne kwakra nyina ne say me enkoye mining ewo ye kwaye hu
eno ahye no wasanso ede nsem ni bitu so kire say International Day of Forest ya wo mode omo ahye wu no eyade anyame ya do mu anfie bi ne aduonu ba ko ijumbo so me de to so edu ba ko womo ebeye Green Ghana program bia womefa so ede aduanua hodo be se opepinum 5 million ewo Ghana fa na ba bia na no so atimi aboa ama Ghana yenyanua bebre ewo man no
That Day of Forest no na anu kwasi eda ni siye na Ghana haso President Akufo-Addo ahyebo ede asinani so se opese yeduanua wo Ghana ha bebre nti ya ne Forest Commission for the adwin abom ye de adwuma bi efe no Green Ghana project ede aba Green Ghana project nyame ya adoma June 11th Ghana mampanyi be di anim Vice President be ka ho bi Speaker of Parliament be ka ho bi Chief Justice be ka ho bi otumfo asante hene ye ba kosere no so aka ho bi ya na so na daworma oba be ka ho bi na ye dua enua wo Ghana fa na be bia na Ghana fo nyina aka ho nye nua na ebedua no nko a ye be pe kwan so a ye be fa so a ye dua enua no na ya bo ho ban na ya hwe so na enua na nyini abeye enua mu
Sedu esutobra ye nyina enim sede ya na eta ha adwene ewo nkramantam ane emi ahodrobi esanse ye moaye ho antipofrim ne nso no to a eyire a ha adwene ye pa from abonso a aya na eta etu ye danso na eno na omde kokobo ema ye nyina se ye moabo ye ho na ye nya hwe yie na se ewiemu adwumakuo no ebo kokosem from bi befa na nso beto a yetumi adan ho so na nkwakofa ho bi amra yensemi Ora George Isi oya Director of Communication Adema Nadmo and the Tuja.
Ya yentie Matthew for Kokobo no yentie party tu ya I flag yehu de ebeye because wo baby a wote no ensuo to eba ho no nti wo bibi esombo a no apɛ baabi de akosi se ne ensuo no mese no na again yenhwɛ se betimi a yentiti ye gates mu very important ebe ma nsuo dodo no wonze utiti gata no nsuo no tumi fam ko na effect ebe ba yeso no ebe kofom kakra eno ye very important again ma education in amongst our own people say nsuo no ba yenya hwe yie ba bia wote no modern ase ebe hu safe havens communities bi wo ha nsuo no ba eba o mu fie nyina nti ye pe ba bia wo soro kakra se nsuo no yesa mo nkotena honom nsuo no jaye a bo ba mu fie abeye mo noma ye for safe havens not mo panifo no identify a check community for nti ya o mnim ba bia wo nti mo nkobo mo ho adwa e wo honom ye very key any other ye panifo no community sensitization and education the ensure no ba senior mobeye very important assembly for so yesre wo mo ya bola egu ba bi che no ya na ha ensure ba woro abegu gata mu na esisi mu nti assembly be ya omfa omobola no ntemta animu a ebetimi aboa nkofa sa ho ha no emma yenyina yenye watchdog officers in our community say na ebebo bibia so ni a na how biba ensure yire hankofo amofre nadmo ye wo ho but mo frɛ emergency line so a ye search and rescue team ebeba abeboa but ye mpa ebo no say enkodu samre no because yenyina ya boaboa ye ho ensure no ba na edoso kra ebetimi nso a wote flat pro na wo relocate abeboa that would be the best but say bia sikasem nti wote wo na aban so metu a ye some management processes na moye.
Health Facility Regulatory Agency wo mabomodin a adedwumedie bi edi efe no Mobile Online Information System hede bebo omanfo nyina ho ebra.
Mobile Online Information System we yo modan no ade no twetwe atiti ne ani ntini mo mu frechichi ne benche yan ba be hyani mu ma se ebe wo mu nyina edi dwumadie wo apomuden adwuma yeko no emu me health sector no emu entisuafo a wo hwe apomuden sem so onwonyafo kwakwa adwuma manu baaye afei kane opening kase a wono so eda Kolebu Teaching Hospital no ano Dr. Gilbert Buckle wono so eba ye ne mpanifo enkaye registrar edema Health Facility Regulatory Agency no Dr. Philip Ebano any youth Vincent for kasa ye fa de ntia womo adan sa mobile online information system we no edi no.
Okay, the airport ne say health facilities regulatory agency enti ye na ye regulate anase ye hwese health facilities nyina yaresa bia nyina say clinic say hospital say lab ombe say omoba number license ye ne omba ye nchen sesia no ye office pe Kumasi ni Tamale any Cape Coast and Accra hanom to mo nyina da bia omutu anamon ene ba sa center se mobodi no sesia ye digital nintino so omko online so ahoma so a omnkata nyina ometimi da kuguso say ye omabodi nkata ye diploma ye certificate ni nyina da bia no mo so ade brain sesia ye digital ntom nya bi ma fa ahoma so na mo de amayen so bi no ye adwuma ma o ye nurse or ye midwife or ye doctor na se onya adwuma wo hobi wa na so okoba bi fofora bit na inform yen just time bia na on ntua na mon mankan ana Kumasi ana Tamale
siafo hwa apomuden nsem so onmunyafo kwaku agima menu nso eda adwumadie no edi ewieye no wada empanifo yase ewo eya abefo kwantempo fidie kwa so a wo mo de ba befa aboa ma apomuden nsem so afa ne ntuma pefra yie ewo o my Ghana mu no.
Dr. Che, I'm also aware that HIFRA has collaborated with 15 stakeholders and experts to review the assessment standards for inspection of health facilities. The final report from this work is expected to bridge the gap of the existing tools and the standards required to achieve their mandate. The standards, as clearly defined, and their measurements for each level of care will ensure clarity and ease of use of the document. The key contribution of this lies in providing comprehensive cross-cutting reference document as agreed standards to improve quality of care, to advance the agenda of quality improvement among our health facilities. Let me congratulate you once again on this feat.
Kane pani kase e de Makolebu Teaching Hospital Dr. Gilbert Buckle enso e de abasobonsem ekoye e de ma Health Facility Regulatory Agency no.
I will encourage HEFRA and say it in extremely strong words that you are to use and ensure the use of these standards that you have put out, creating an enabling and a facilitatory environment for your stakeholders to adhere to and to comply to them. I also ask HEFRA to ensure a transparent approach in the application of the standards when health facilities are being inspected to ensure the desired outcomes are achieved. And these standards are for application to both public and private healthcare institutions.
Sikasem obenfu bi de adwenkyere bi eba se osusu se ye ne se betumi aboa ene se abadwumayefo a bosom yeti omoka no ankabe yanke yenyai na de biara da no de se no na ye de ama no da de ti okasa ne se obi o ha bosom no kwadwuma ben prensape na so bosom so a na akoje na ketua na se osusu se ye ne saa ebeboa yie papa ukona nsa na oje na nsa se bosomi a na waje bosomi boko ensemi Dr. John Kwache oyo bifos kasemu ene de tudwa
okoye expenditure no a sky editia e kan public sector workers no eso gie ye tax revenue kase pa for a very long time ye nim say public sector na say reform no na mo ye more productive mo ye more efficient esaka ye betun atia o ka yi enso na say omo oguopi na ebi adwuma ebi nso enye adwuma eye fully enso na ye tia o ka na chese sika no a e call nsem no kra no eni value ye devalue sika no because the infant tia for productivity nya dinti anka senior other countries omo ye ne say instead I bet you obi aka every month no why adwuma wonya adwuma omo market wo per hour and you pay uko nya adwuma say you pay bia $10 per hour. But Ghana maybe you say 5 cedis every hour. Enti na just say oba adwuma mu a enim ya ba be kroku enti enim time a de ba adwuma. O konso enim time a de ba adwuma. Enti da no hours a de aye adwuma no. O manager ni nim. O ade ni nyina apa. Now at the end of the week no. What total will pay. No the amount. Ti no why adwuma ni ya pay. Tiskano kra de be ma mo no wo de no ne e ko man ni mu ni nyina no na just say emu ye duru because adwuma eta na chi crofo produce ne etia but enti say start bi wo hasa maybe on a small scale ni experimentation ni expand no anka no ebe boy eno ho asem na ye ka
Yadi kasiye boy eko ahomije mo ba madaroma ye basisi a